Japan is much more than its vibrant lights and ancient temples. There is a part of the country that remains hidden from the eyes of many, shrouded in mystery and isolation. Imagine an island so remote that even the residents avoid setting foot on it. Curiosity about countries like Japan reveals not only traditions, but also the shadows and secrets that lurk in lesser-known places. Few dare to explore these islands, and those who do say they never return the same. In lands covered by mist and ancient legends, time seems to have stopped. There, the wind carries murmurs, as if telling stories of those who passed by but never left. It is fascinating to see how the curiosity of such an evolved country is still shrouded in mysteries and myths. Japan preserves these places as shrines, where restless souls are believed to roam, creating an atmosphere of respect and fear. Imagine crossing one of these islands, feeling the chill down your spine and the sensation of being watched. What would you do if you knew that, when you stepped there, you could find much more than you expected? Curiosities about countries like Japan teach us that fear and fascination go hand in hand. What if I told you that in certain places, even the Japanese themselves, with all due respect to spirituality and the supernatural, refuse to set foot? These islands are full of stories that go beyond human understanding, defying reason and the senses. There is something irresistible about what we don't know, an almost uncontrollable desire to see with our own eyes what is hidden behind the veil. Japan and its hidden islands are an invitation for those who wish to explore the unknown and feel the thrill of mystery in its purest form. Who would dare follow this dark path, where each step reveals more about what is truly a country's curiosity and the secrets it holds? The mysteries of the Japanese islands were not born by chance. They were forged by legends passed down from generation to generation, like a treasure hidden in every corner. There, between the waves and the mountains, stories emerge that go beyond common understanding, transforming these places into authentic country curiosities. Many say these legends were created to ward off intruders, while others believe they were warnings from the gods, a reminder that certain lands were meant only for spirits. Anyone who listens to these stories knows that each one carries a purpose and, sometimes, a secret. These myths are not mere inventions, but reflections of a deep culture, where ancestors shaped the supernatural in their lives. Japan has a long tradition of spirituality and respect for the dead. Therefore, imagining that an island could be inhabited by spirits is not strange for the Japanese. Curiosities about countries like Japan reveal how much myths are part of the lives of many inhabitants, like an invisible protection that surrounds certain places. It's as if the old gods were still hiding there, waiting for the right moment to appear. But what makes an island haunted? The influence of the ancestors is strong, and many of the legends arose in times of war or great change. When a place is marked by suffering, the energies remain there, creating an environment where the supernatural seems more present. They say that on certain islands, even the sunset is different, more intense, as if the past was still attached to the stones and trees. Thus, Japan creates a history where every corner has a dark past, keeping the memory alive through generations. And so, the elders continue to pass on their legends, warning the young not to challenge these sacred sites. They speak of figures that appear in the fog, of voices that call in the night, and of shadows that seem to move in the forest. These are stories that cultivate respect, but also fascination. If there is still something that arouses our curiosity, it is the unknown, that which we cannot see, but we know is there. Hashima, known as the Ghost Island, rests silent and forgotten, surrounded by a sea that seems to want to hide its history. Once a prosperous mining town, Hashima was home to hundreds of workers who extracted coal from the depths of the ocean. Today, only rubble remains, abandoned buildings and empty corridors that echo the voices of a past that insists on not being erased. This island has become a true curiosity of a country, where abandonment and decay mix, creating a landscape that awakens fear and fascination in those who dare to explore its secrets. Hashima's rise and fall are a brutal reminder of the impact of industrial development, where progress often comes with sacrifice. For decades, miners lived and worked in harsh conditions, with the constant threat of the sea around them. With the closure of the mines, the island was quickly evacuated, and what was left behind was an apocalyptic scenario. When visiting Hashima, it is as if each wall tells a story of suffering, a detail of the lives of those who passed there and never returned. For locals, Hashima is not just an abandoned island, but a symbol of a time Japan would rather forget. But for the curious and brave, this island is an open-air museum, a window to a world where silence speaks louder than words. There are reports of those who claim to hear sounds and murmurs coming from the ruins, and even feel an inexplicable presence when walking through the empty corridors. It's as if something is waiting there, an energy that persists in guarding that place. Hashima reminds us of the power of time and memory, as if the island itself had decided to preserve its secrets for those who dare to discover. A curiosity of a country that mixes beauty and decadence, a piece of Japanese history that resists the sea and oblivion. But will this place let its secrets be revealed so easily? Every step in Hashima is an entry into a new mystery, and anyone who traverses its ruins knows that something much deeper is watching them. Nagoro, a small village lost among the mountains of Japan, is a unique country curiosity, where silence and dolls replace the human presence. This almost magical and somewhat disturbing place tells a story of loneliness and parting, where a local lady, in a gesture of love and nostalgia, began creating dolls for each person who left or passed away. Thus, the village gained hundreds of figures that fill the streets, houses, and even classrooms, each with a fixed and unshakable gaze, like guardians of a past that will never be forgotten. For anyone visiting Nagoro, the feeling of being watched is almost inevitable. Each doll seems to tell a story, bringing back memories of times when the village was alive and full of laughter. Curiosity about countries like Japan reveals a melancholic and mysterious side here, a place where even the wind seems to whisper secrets. Walking among these figures is almost like a visit to a world where time has stopped, where the present has been frozen in faces that silently watch the few visitors who dare to set foot there. Some tourists describe an unsettling feeling, as if the dolls were following them with their eyes, as if they were waiting for a response, or perhaps just company. It's curious to see how something as simple as a doll can carry so much emotional charge, a testimony to a time that has passed. This is a clear example of how Japan, in its peculiar culture, finds ways to immortalize its memories, transforming loss and loneliness into a visual, almost artistic expression. Nagoro is not just a village, but a reminder of fragility and the passage of time. For anyone who dares to walk among the figures, it is almost as if a feeling of respect and a slight sadness mix. What visitors feel, there is an invitation to reflect on what we leave behind and what we carry with us. Each doll is a link between the past and the present, a silent warning that time passes but memories remain, holding secrets that only those who visit Nagoro can truly understand. Aokigahara, the dense and silent forest at the foot of Mount Fuji, carries a dark reputation that goes beyond Japan. It is known worldwide for its mysteries and the weight of so many tragic stories, making it a country curiosity that attracts those seeking to understand the inexplicable. Among its twisted trees and labyrinthine paths, the spirit of the place is said to be strong, almost palpable, as if the shadows of former visitors still roam, ready to tell their stories to anyone who dares to listen. There is something about the atmosphere of Aokigahara that defies logic and invites the unknown. Reports from people who have been there say that the forest seems to absorb all sounds, creating a silence so dense that it suffocates. It's as if the forest had a life of its own, an organism that keeps, in its bowels, secrets and pains that not even time has been able to erase. Curiosity about countries like Japan reveals a very deep aspect of the relationship between culture and spirituality, where fear and respect meet at every step taken under the shade of trees. At the same time, Aokigahara is a symbol of a silent pain that persists in Japanese society. The forest is, in part, a metaphor for the weight that many carry, which leads them to seek a last answer there. Among the trees, there are small shrines and objects left by those who passed by, souvenirs of a life that ended there. It's a reminder that, sometimes, the place where you live carries stories so deep and personal that it's impossible not to feel empathy for those who decided to end their journey there. Every visitor who dares to set foot in Aokigahara takes with them a part of this intense experience. For some, it is a place of reflection. For others, a challenge to their own fear. This forest reminds us that Japan is a country where traditions and modernity intertwine with the supernatural. And while some seek to understand this mystery, Aokigahara remains, waiting silently, like an enigma that may never be completely solved. The island of Oshima, surrounded by Japanese waters, is known for its enchanting scenery and the dark legends that haunt its beaches. Locals speak of angry spirits that roam the island, restless and relentless. These stories are conveyed as warnings, reminding us that Oshima is not an ordinary place, but a curiosity of a country that challenges the courage of those who approach it. According to tradition, these spirits have not found rest, and at night they manifest their presence in the form of shadows and murmurs that give chills to even the most fearless. These angry spirits are seen by many as guardians of ancient secrets whose peace has been abruptly disrupted. In Oshima, death and the supernatural intertwine as if they were part of the landscape itself. Some residents, in an effort to maintain peace on the island, perform purification rituals, offering gifts and prayers to those who have passed away. It is an attempt to appease these lost souls, but many say that, even so, the whispers continue to haunt the island, transforming Oshima into one of the most disturbing curiosities about countries like Japan. Those who visit the island at night report intense experiences, feeling as if they are being watched from all angles. There are those who say that, when walking along the beaches of Oshima, it is possible to hear laments in the wind coming from somewhere deep and far away. These reports only strengthen the aura of mystery that surrounds the island, where each wave seems to carry a memory, a secret that, even though it is whispered, carries an indescribable weight. Oshima has become a destination for adventurers and also for the most sensitive, who seek to understand the reason for so much concern. So the island of Oshima remains, its beauty hiding an unsettling darkness. For many, it is a place that defies reason and invites silent respect. And while the legends continue to be passed down, the island seems to urge caution from each new visitor. A country curiosity that makes us question how far the real and the imaginary intersect, and how some places simply keep eternal marks. The island of Enoshima, south of Tokyo, is one of Japan's most enigmatic, with a reputation that goes beyond its natural beauty. Many believe that there are portals to another dimension, a fascinating concept for those seeking curiosity about countries with mystical legends. Visitors report strange sensations of disorientation, as if time and space become blurred when walking along its trails. They say it's easy to get lost in Enoshima, not because the path is complicated, but because something seems to divert the minds of the most unsuspecting. Legends of portals on Enoshima date back to ancient times, when monks and mystics performed rituals on the island to connect with other planes of existence. They believed that the boundaries between worlds were fragile there, allowing spirits and energies to manifest. For curious visitors to Japan, this island offers more than just a paradisiacal setting. It's a place where the supernatural seems to flow with ease. Walking through Enoshima is like crossing an invisible line, where the real and the imaginary meet at every step. Some visitors tell intriguing stories of encounters with mysterious figures who disappear as quickly as they appear, leaving a feeling of uncertainty and mystery. In the middle of a dense forest, or at dusk on the beaches, it is common to hear reports of shadows that seem to follow visitors. These phenomena fuel the belief that Enoshima actually has portals to other dimensions, something that attracts both skeptics and explorers of the supernatural. It's as if the island had a life of its own, deciding who can and cannot reveal its secrets. With each new report, Enoshima reaffirms its place as one of the most disturbing country curiosities in Japan. For those looking for answers, the island is an invitation to the unknown, where time is lost and certainties dissipate. And, upon leaving, many ask themselves, what did they really see there? The line between what is real and what is supernatural becomes so blurred that only those who allow themselves to believe can understand what Enoshima really is. Okunoshima, known as the Island of Rabbits, holds a mystery that goes beyond its adorable inhabitants. In contrast to the cute image of free-roaming rabbits, Okunoshima hides a dark past, as it was an important chemical weapons production center during the war. This duality transforms the island into a curiosity of a country that attracts those interested in both the historical side and the fascination of the unusual. Visiting Okunoshima is like walking between two realities, the softness of rabbits and the weight of an almost forgotten history. It is surprising to see how these innocent and vulnerable rabbits scatter through the ruins of old chemical plants. Many believe that the rabbits were introduced there as part of experiments, while others say they were taken to serve as companions for soldiers working on the island. What remains is the image of hundreds of rabbits that occupy every corner of Okunoshima, as if they were the silent guardians of a history that, although delicate, still commands respect. This is one of those curiosities about countries that leave a mark in the memory of those who witness this strange harmony. Today, visitors walk among ruins and rabbits, experiencing a kind of paradox between the dark past and the lightness of the little animals. Seeing the rabbits exploring freely creates such a contrast that it's almost poetic. Many visitors wonder, do these rabbits carry some memory of the island, or are they just pieces of a scene that nature and time have shaped with irony? Those who visit Okunoshima can feed the rabbits, but they also realize that the weight of each ruin tells a story of difficult times. Thus, Ilha dos Coelhos challenges the senses, mixing innocence and sadness in each piece of land. Okunoshima has become a destination that intrigues with its beauty and unsettles with its past. Each visitor takes a little of this experience with them, an invitation to reflect on how history, however painful it may be, can find ways to stay alive. And Okunoshima, silent and mysterious, always seems to have something new to reveal to those who dare to explore its trails. The island of Yonaguni holds one of the greatest mysteries in Japan, and perhaps the world. In the depths of its crystal-clear waters, submerged structures rest that defy human understanding and are the subject of fascination for curiosity about countries and their ancient civilizations. These monuments, which appear to have been carved with precision, raise the question that still echoes among historians and scientists. Were they made by human hands, or are they just a creation of nature? Diving into Yonaguni is like exploring a portal to another era, an adventure in search of answers that may never come. Some believe these ruins belong to a lost civilization, an eastern Atlantis that disappeared into the depths thousands of years ago. The geometric formations suggest the work of an advanced people who may have built temples, pyramids, and even roads on the bottom of the sea. For divers, it is impossible not to feel a mixture of awe when swimming among these colossal structures. Yonaguni, with its enigmatic beauty, is a curiosity of a country that connects modern Japan to an unfathomable and enchanting past. However, there are those who see Yonaguni as a mere geological phenomenon, a set of stones sculpted by time and water pressure. Still, the mystery persists, as many divers claim to feel an inexplicable presence while exploring the island's submerged corners. It is as if Yonaguni maintains its own guardians, watching over the ruins and whispering ancient secrets to those who dare to listen. The feeling of disorientation and fascination is so intense that many wonder if they are really back. For those seeking the unknown, Yonaguni is an open door to one of humanity's greatest enigmas. Each dive is a journey into the past, an invitation to uncover the mysteries of a forgotten civilization, or perhaps to understand that not all secrets need answers. And so, Yonaguni remains a fascinating enigma, waiting for the few who dare to descend into the depths and face what time has hidden. Miyakejima is an island that defies the very logic of survival. Imagine living in a place where the air you breathe is filled with poisonous gas, and where gas masks are not just accessories, but essential everyday items. This reality makes Miyakejima a unique country curiosity in Japan, where inhabitants live with the constant threat of volcanic gases that erupt without warning, reminding them daily of the relentless force of nature. Here, life persists amidst a scenario that would be unthinkable for many. In the 2000s, the island was evacuated due to a deadly increase in the concentration of sulfur dioxide, a toxic gas that threatens health. When the residents finally returned, their return did not mean relief, but rather an adaptation to an unusual reality. Walking through the streets of Miyakejima is to see people wearing gas masks, children playing amid warning signs, and a daily life that borders on the surreal. It is a living example of how human resilience adapts, even in extreme conditions, a true testament to courage and persistence. Visitors who arrive at Miyakejima soon realize the intensity of this scenario. Many report feeling a slight burning in their eyes and a feeling of heaviness in the air, as if the island reminds them that they are in nature-controlled territory. Life there is a game of constant vigilance, where sirens warn residents about changing winds and the concentration of gases. It is impossible not to feel a deep respect when seeing how people live cautiously, and, at the same time, with a naturalness that only time and habit bring. Miyakejima is more than a place. It's a lesson in survival in adverse conditions. Each resident is an example of adaptation, and each visitor takes with them the memory of an island where life and danger coexist in a silent dance. This curious country reminds us that there are places in the world where the simple act of breathing becomes a test of courage, and where the desire to remain at home overcomes even the most extreme obstacles. The islands of Gunkanjima, also known as Battleship Island, are a disturbing spectacle in the Sea of Japan. With their massive and desolate structures, the islands resemble the wreckage of gigantic ships, abandoned to their fate. These constructions are, in fact, buildings from a mining town that flourished and rapidly declined, becoming a true country curiosity for those seeking to understand the hidden history of Japan. Gunkanjima stands tall, imposing and frightening, as a reminder of what it happens when prosperity mixes with impermanence. As you walk through the ruins, every empty hallway and broken window seems to tell stories of a golden age that came to an abrupt halt. During its heyday, the island was home to hundreds of miners who worked day and night, extracting coal from the depths. But as the industry declined, Gunkanjima was quickly abandoned, turning into a ghost island. Many say that, if you listen carefully, you can hear the echo of footsteps and murmurs of those who live there, as if the island itself held memories of intense and forgotten times. Today, Gunkanjima is an attraction for adventurers and the curious, but the feeling of being there is overwhelming. Many describe a heavy atmosphere, as if the island itself was pressuring them to leave. Visiting Gunkanjima is like entering a world where time has stopped, where concrete and metal slowly corrode, but history remains intact. This contrast between the robustness of the buildings and the delicacy of the silence creates a tension that fascinates and, at the same time, chills anyone who dares to explore its corners. Gunkanjima teaches us about the destructive power of modernity and limitless industrialization. It is a reminder that progress, when miscalculated, leaves deep and imperishable marks. This island, forgotten and empty, attracts those looking for more than tourism, appeals to those who want to feel the pulse of a history that has never been completely silenced. Anyone who visits Gunkanjima leaves with the certainty that some places have a soul, and that soul echoes for generations. The island of Shikoku is known for the Trail of 88 Temples, a sacred route that attracts pilgrims from all over Japan and the world. This journey, which passes through stunning landscapes full of history, is a curiosity of a country that reveals the spiritual and mysterious side of Japan. Each temple has a unique atmosphere, almost as if it carries an energy of its own, offering visitors not only the chance to reflect, but also to encounter invisible forces that surround these places. The temples seem to breathe, and, when crossing them, it is as if time itself retreats in respect for the sacred. They say that the ancient monks, who walked this trail in search of enlightenment, left part of their souls there, creating a connection that persists to this day. Reports of supernatural encounters are common, especially on full moon nights, when the shadows of monks are said to appear to follow the footsteps of pilgrims. For those looking for spiritual answers, Shikoku offers more than a physical journey. It is a path where curiosity about countries and their beliefs come to life, and where the supernatural merges with everyday life. Some pilgrims say they felt a calm, mysterious presence along the route, as if an invisible hand guided them from temple to temple. The feeling of safety and welcome is so strong that many believe that the spirits of the monks still watch over the trail, protecting those who walk it with devotion. Anyone who ventures through Shikoku feels that this sacred route has something more, something that transcends the physical plane and invites the pilgrim to dive into a journey of self-knowledge. Shikoku is, for many, more than a country curiosity, is an invitation to explore spirituality in its purest form. Every step into the 88 temples is an opportunity for connection, a reminder that Japan is a land where the sacred and the mystical still live side by side. And, for those who dare to follow this path, Shikoku offers an unforgettable experience, where the encounter with the divine becomes almost inevitable. Okinoshima is an island shrouded in mystery and ancient traditions, a curiosity of a country that defies modern times with its strict and spiritual rules. Located in the Sea of Japan, this sacred island remains closed to the general public and, above all, to women. This exclusion raises countless questions and fascinates those trying to understand the Japanese's deep reverence and respect for places that seem untouched by the outside world. Okinoshima represents one of the few places where tradition reigns supreme, and where ancient beliefs remain protected by isolation. On the island, monks perform ancient ceremonies and rituals to honor the gods and spirits of ancestors. These rituals are so secret that, upon leaving the island, the few men authorized to visit take an oath never to reveal what they saw or heard. It is as if, upon stepping into Okinoshima, they cross a border into a world where time moves at a different pace, where the sacred takes shape and imposes itself. This island, then, becomes a living reminder of what is a curiosity about countries where traditions do not weaken but intensify. Men entering Okinoshima are instructed to purify themselves before setting foot on the island, as a form of respect and protection. They cannot take anything with them, nor leave any object behind. This connection with the sacred requires complete and absolute surrender, a surrender that transcends logic and delves into the roots of Japanese spirituality. For them, Okinoshima is a sanctuary where everything is untouchable and, at the same time, extremely real. It is a place where every stone, tree, and sound carries a deep meaning, holding secrets that will remain hidden from the rest of the world. Okinoshima, with its traditions and restrictions, is a symbol of the relationship between Japan and the spiritual. It's a reminder that even in an increasingly connected world, there are still places where mystery and the sacred persist. Anyone who observes this island from afar feels an almost irresistible curiosity, as if it holds answers that will never be revealed. Okinoshima invites us to reflect on the power of the sacred, on what is beyond the reach of our eyes, and on the respect that certain places demand in silence. The Yaeyama Islands, a small archipelago south of Japan, are surrounded by a story of pain and mystery, a true curiosity about countries that carry the weight of the past in every corner. During World War II, many workers and prisoners were taken to these islands, where they faced harsh and, for many, fatal conditions. Today, residents speak of apparitions, shadows that appear at night, and whispers in the wind, as if the souls of those who suffered there still remain, reluctant to leave the place that witnessed their last journey. These legends are not just stories to scare, but memories of a time when the islands served as a stage for suffering and resistance. Some of the purification rituals performed by locals are believed to appease these restless spirits. For them, respect for ancestors and those who died tragically is essential, as if each ritual were an embrace of the past, maintaining a connection with those who were unable to move forward. This practice transforms Yaeyama into a place of living memory, where traditions and stories are kept as lessons. Tourists visiting Yaeyama are advised to respect the sacred areas, as many believe that disturbing the spirits can bring bad luck. Some visitors claim to have seen hazy figures among the trees, while others report feeling a sudden cold, as if they were being accompanied. Japan, with its deep respect for the supernatural, cultivates a reverent fear, and this transforms Yaeyama into a destination that awakens the most sensitive side of those who dare to explore its natural beauties and spiritual secrets. The Yaeyama Islands are a reminder that the past is never truly far away, and that in certain places it seems palpable, almost tangible. When walking these grounds, it's hard not to feel the energy that still resonates there, a connection that leads us to question how far history has truly gone and where it still lives. Yaeyama keeps his stories and his ghosts silent, waiting for those who respect the memories that will never be erased. The Amami Islands, with their lush landscapes and paradisiacal beaches, are the scene of dark stories about spirits that roam restlessly. For local inhabitants, these islands hold a deep and mysterious energy, being a curious country where the spiritual world intertwines with everyday life. According to tradition, certain areas of the islands are places of passage for spirits, a point of connection between the world of the living and that of the dead. Walking around these islands at dusk is like entering a territory that does not completely belong to the human world. To honor the dead and ensure their spirits find peace, residents perform ancient rituals, believing these gestures prevent lost souls from becoming trapped in the earth. It is common to see small altars or offerings at specific points, as symbols of respect and protection. Anyone visiting the Amami Islands can notice these signs and understand that for the Japanese, spirituality is an essential part of life. These rituals are reminders that harmony with the spiritual world is necessary, even if it cannot be seen but only felt. There are those who say that, when walking along certain Amami trails, the air becomes heavy and the shadows seem to move on their own. These reports only increase the mystery surrounding the islands, arousing the curiosity of those who visit. The Amami Islands are at once welcoming and challenging, a reminder that Japan holds secrets where you least expect them. For visitors, these encounters with the unknown can be both fascinating and frightening, an experience that transforms a simple walk into a spiritual journey. The Amami Islands offer an intense connection with what is unseen, but which many believe exists. With each ritual, with each offering, the message is clear. Respect and care for the past are essential to live in peace. Anyone who visits Amami feels like they are stepping on land steeped in history and mystery, a place where spirits are not only remembered, but also revered. Islands invite us to reflect on how the spiritual world is present, even when we don't fully understand it. The island of Hachijojima, shrouded in intriguing mystery, is known for the strange sounds that echo from its sea depths. These inexplicable noises, heard by fishermen and local residents, reverberate like laments that seem to emerge from the ocean itself, creating a country's curiosity that attracts those seeking explanations for the unknown. Some say these sounds are caused by natural phenomena, but for many, Hachijojima holds something beyond human understanding, a secret buried in the waters surrounding the island. Theories about the origin of the sounds vary, but there are those who believe that Hachijojima is a meeting point between the world of the living and that of spirits. Old fishermen tell stories of nebulous figures that appear on the surface of the sea, especially on foggy nights, as if the waters carried memories of those who passed by. These stories transform the island into a place where curiosity about countries and legends come to life, creating an atmosphere where mysticism and nature intertwine. Visitors who venture to Hachijojima at night report a unique, almost surreal experience. Many report feeling a sudden chill and, in some cases, hearing sounds that resemble whispers or distant singing. This feeling of being close to the inexplicable fascinates and, at the same time, scares, giving the island an enigmatic and almost magnetic aura. Hachijojima seems to have its own personality, as if each wave that surrounds it carries a piece of history and mystery. With each new story, Hachijojima establishes itself as a place where the supernatural and the real come together in perfect harmony. This country's curiosity makes us reflect on what we really know about the world around us, and to what extent we are prepared to listen to what it has to tell us. For those looking for answers or simply a chilling experience, Hachijojima is an irresistible destination where the sea holds its own secrets, ready to be heard by those who dare to listen. The Ryukyu Islands, an archipelago south of Japan, are known not only for their beauty, but for a spirituality that seems to transcend the visible world. For locals, these islands are much more than just pieces of land surrounded by water. They are, in fact, gates to another dimension. This vision makes Ryukyu a curious country full of mysticism, where shamans and ancient rituals are carried out to this day to maintain harmony between the world of the living and the afterlife. Each island is treated as sacred, a land where supernatural forces can manifest. In various parts of the islands, it is common to find small stone portals and sanctuaries dedicated to the gods and the spirits of the ancestors. According to local tradition, these portals are accesses to the world of spirits, points of connection between two realities that coexist but rarely intersect. Residents, aware of this mystery, avoid certain places at dusk, believing that this is the time when the borders between worlds become thinner. These spiritual practices are a testament to how Japan preserves traditions that defy modern logic. Visitors arriving in Ryukyu are quickly warned to respect these sacred sites, as many believe that offending the spirits can have consequences. Some people report seeing floating lights at nightfall, while others describe a feeling of peace and fear mixed together, as if they were in the presence of something immense and invisible. This is one of those curiosities about countries that spark the imagination, a place where the supernatural is not just a myth, but a real part of everyday life. The Ryukyu are a reminder that, even in an increasingly rational world, there is still room for the inexplicable. These islands make us question what lies beyond what our eyes can see and what it means to live in harmony with the spiritual world. For those seeking a truly mystical experience, Ryukyu is an open door to the unknown, where each step seems to bring us closer to a secret that will never be completely revealed. The island of Iwo Jima is one of the most historic and haunted places in Japan, where the memory of the war still echoes in the air. It was here that one of the most intense battles of World War II took place, and many say that the souls of the warriors, Japanese and American, still roam this blood-stained land. Iwo Jima is a country curiosity that reflects the pain and heroism of a past that will never be forgotten. Those who visit this island not only find ruins and traces of war, but also a heavy atmosphere, as if the spirits were still waiting for peace. Local residents and soldiers who have passed through the island report stories of unexplained appearances and sounds, such as footsteps, whispering voices, and wails that seem to come from the ground itself. They say that, at nightfall, it is possible to feel the presence of those who lost their lives there, as if the island kept a silent tribute to each soul that passed away. For Japan, Iwo Jima is more than a historical landmark. It is a place where the supernatural mixes with respect, a living reminder that the past cannot simply be erased. Visitors to Iwo Jima, especially sensitive ones, describe a sense of melancholy as they walk the grounds. It's as if the island still tells the story of each soldier, a whisper of sacrifice that rises in the wind. Many say it is impossible to leave Iwo Jima without feeling deep respect and sadness, as if the land itself carries the weight of every life lost there. This experience transforms the island into a destination that is not only historical but also spiritual, a connection to a dark and heroic chapter of humanity. For anyone who dares to visit Iwo Jima, the sensation is of being in front of an invisible memorial, a tribute to courage and suffering. This country's curiosity is proof that war leaves marks that go beyond what the eyes can see. And as the winds blow over Iwo Jima, it seems history whispers its secrets to those who have ears to hear. Every step there is a reminder that, in certain places, the past is a constant and inescapable presence. Chichijima, a remote island in Japan, holds a history of suffering and sacrifice, transforming itself into a country curiosity that intrigues and moves those who know it. During World War II, Chichijima was the scene of tragic events, and many soldiers lost their lives there in painful ways. Today, those who visit the island speak of a heavy atmosphere and a sense of sadness that seems to permeate the air. It's as if every lament of the souls lost, there still echoes across the mountains and beaches, whispering secrets of a dark time. Locals share stories of apparitions, shadows that move at dusk, and voices that seem to come out of nowhere. Many believe that these phenomena are the souls of soldiers who never found peace. Those who dare to explore the more isolated areas of Chichijima report a feeling of sudden cold and an inexplicable presence, as if they were being watched. For the Japanese, these stories are a reminder that certain places carry an energy that goes beyond understanding, and that respect for these places is essential. Some tourists say they have heard moans or sighs coming from the forest, sounds that cannot be rationally explained. This feeling of being in touch with something otherworldly is part of what makes Chichijima so fascinating and at the same time scary. The island has become a destination for those seeking to understand the weight of history and the power of the places where suffering has left its mark. With each new account, Chichijima reaffirms its position as a place where the past and present coexist in mysterious ways. For anyone who visits Chichijima, the experience is a lesson in respect and reflection on what it means to live and die in a place of conflict. This curiosity about countries like Japan reminds us that, in some places, time and memory remain alive, keeping laments and stories that will never be forgotten. Chichijima is a silent invitation to those who are willing to listen, to those who have the courage to face what cannot be seen but can certainly be felt. The island of Yonaguni, famous for its submerged ruins, also holds a little-known spiritual tradition, an ancient cult that survives in the shadows of modernity. This cult, transmitted in secret from generation to generation, involves mysterious ceremonies performed only by those who were born on the island, making Yonaguni a curiosity of a country where the sacred is protected like a hidden treasure. Anyone who visits the island quickly realizes that there is more than meets the eye. A sense of respect and caution seems to envelop every corner, as if the land itself holds ancient secrets. The ceremonies performed by local inhabitants are wrapped in symbolism and deep respect for the gods and spirits of nature. These practices aim to maintain balance between the physical and spiritual worlds, and any outside intrusion is discouraged. To a visitor, these rituals may seem impenetrable, but for the residents of Yonaguni, they are a way of honoring their ancestors and protecting the island. They believe these ceremonies strengthen the connection with the past, an invisible link that keeps the essence of what the island represents alive. There are reports of those who, even without understanding the entirety of the rituals, feel a spiritual presence when participating, as if it were a privilege to be on that sacred ground. Some describe a sense of peace and belonging when attending the rituals, while others claim to feel something stronger, as if the souls of Yonaguni's former guardians were still there. Curiosity about countries like Japan shows us that, in places like this, mysticism and reality coexist, creating an environment where respect and faith are fundamental. The island of Yonaguni, with its ancient whispers, is a powerful reminder that, in some places, time has not erased connections with the spiritual world. It's a place where history is more than fact. It is a living presence that touches those who have the sensitivity to perceive it. For the curious and courageous, Yonaguni offers a glimpse of a Japan that preserves its mysteries and traditions, where each ritual is an invitation to those who wish to understand what it means to truly belong to a land. Scattered along the coast of Japan, there are small islands that were abandoned decades ago but still have an invisible presence. These deserted islands, where nature has taken over human constructions, are known for reports of inexplicable sightings and sounds, becoming a country curiosity that defies logic. Many fishermen avoid these islands, claiming that, at nightfall, ghostly figures appear among the trees and ruins, as if they were shadows of former residents who refuse to leave. These forgotten places harbor stories that remain alive only in the memories of the elderly, who claim that lost spirits roam at night in search of something they left behind. For residents of nearby islands, visiting these abandoned islands is like disturbing sacred ground, a space where the past still dwells. Some believe that the spirits present there are of people who left in moments of great sadness or revolt, and that their souls were trapped in the place. This belief turns each of these islands into an engaging and, at the same time, frightening mystery. Visitors who venture to explore these desolate corners often report a feeling of discomfort and restlessness. Some say that, at certain points, the silence is so intense that it seems like shouting, and a feeling of constant vigilance accompanies every step. These reports only strengthen the mystery that surrounds these islands, where every tree and every ruin seems to have its own look, observing the few who venture to challenge the unknown. These small abandoned islands are a reminder that Japan is much more than its famous cities and temples. They keep a dark and silent side, a deep connection with what has been lost and remains invisible to the eye. For those who seek to understand the essence of the country, these places are a lesson in respect for the past and the unknown, a curiosity about countries that teaches us to listen, even to what cannot be heard. Japan, with its breathtaking landscapes and ancient traditions, is a country where the past and present meet in a delicate and respectful dance. The mysterious islands, hidden and full of legends, reveal an enigmatic and fascinating side of this culture. A country curiosity that arouses the interest of explorers and scholars from all over the world. In these lands, what appears to be silence and isolation hides secrets, whispers, and a spirituality that transcends time. Each island, with its stories and presences, is a door to a Japan that few have the courage to explore. It's incredible to think that, in a world where everything seems to be discovered, there are still places that remain untouched, where the supernatural is as real as the concrete. These islands reveal that Japan is not just a land of technological advancements and bustling cities, but also of ancient enigmas. For the Japanese, these places are respected, and each legend is a living reminder of what was and what still lingers in the shadows. Exploring these curiosities about countries like Japan is more than just a trip. It is an experience that transforms the way we see the world. Those who visit these mystical places do not leave the same. Each island carries something inexplicable, something that makes us rethink the fragility of life and the strength of stories that have not been told. Japan, with its mysterious islands, teaches us that the unknown has inestimable value, and that there is a respect that we must carry with every step we take in ancient lands. For those who dare to listen, these islands have a lot to tell, in a language that perhaps only the soul is capable of understanding. Thus, Japan remains a guardian of its own mysteries, a country where the real and the invisible coexist in harmony. On each island, there is an invitation to connect with what is deep and ancestral, a chance to feel what words cannot always explain. And, even after knowing all these stories, the question still remains: what else does Japan hide in its lands and seas? Perhaps the answer is waiting for those who have the courage to seek it.
Hey explorers, if you love discovering the amazing curiosities and stories we share here on Exploring Nations, how about supporting the channel with just $1? This small gesture can make a big difference and is essential to keep this content going. Without your support, our journey might be cut short. And there's more. When you shop on Amazon, use our special link. It costs you nothing extra, plus you get an exclusive discount and it helps us out a lot. The links for donations and Amazon are pinned in the first comment. Don't let this adventure stop, we're counting on you. Subscribe to our channel, leave a like, and drop us a comment.